guys, let's do a daily update. The past couple days I took off Labor Day weekend here in the US, so I wasn't really paying attention too much to the charts. So we need to figure out where we are here. We've printed a nasty weekly candle. So, the obvious things to look at here are, I'm on the weekly chart right now. We had what should have been support right here that I had drawn. It's now resistance. Basically looking at these weekly closes right here, so that's now resistance. If we come down here where we've topped out here and here and here, we had somewhat of a resistance right there, so it's kind of like a resistance zone. That's now resistance again. We're down below that, so the weekly candle closed below that, which isn't good. So now what we have to do is try to figure out where we're going to get support here if we're going to continue going down and not get back above these resistances. And so we're going to put a few more levels on here. First off, let's pull a fib. I like to use fib. We'll put the 382 as well in here. I'm not really going to pay attention to the 236 right now. I'm just going to put the 382. So the 382 would make sense maybe for relief. If we came down there, it'd be a full retrace of this move. So that wouldn't surprise me. Now let's go down to a lower time frame so we can try to figure out if there's some kind of count that we can put on this too. So as you can see, we've come back up into that resistance, rejected harshly, and now we're just consolidating below it. So we'll have to see if we're going to have continuation. It seems likely that we will have to have continuation. Just looking at the count structure that we have, it looks to me like we've put in 4 waves so far, or we're on the 4th wave. We don't know exactly where this correction is going to end here, and I think we'll have another push down. And so that's what I'm looking at currently. And if you want to put some fib relations on this, there's a couple of different ways that we can do that. Let me go to 8 hour so I can scrunch it up a little bit more. You can look at the fib extension. So we've put in this 1 wave, project from the 2. We've come right to the 1618, which is where you would expect to get support on a 3rd. Right there between the 1618 and 175, that's where you would expect to have support for some kind of relief and to start the wave 4 correction. And currently we're in some kind of wave 4, I would assume. I don't know if this is going to just keep just absolutely dumping, or if we're going to get some more consolidation right here where we have to put in some kind of triangle maybe before heading down. And so I'm looking at something like that. It could be a descending triangle as well, something more along these lines, where instead of symmetrical, we come down like this, we make a little wave up, a little wave down, and then we kind of continue down to complete our 5th wave. And so this is what I'm currently looking for. And so you can see the 382 from earlier right here. Let me just do this. Extend lines, and that way we can see the fib level no matter where I draw. So the 382 here, 0.5 down here, which would be at the bottom of this dip from this prior range, which would be quite the move. So we just got to see how this is going to play out. Obviously if it's going to put in some kind of structure like this, it's not going to look so good because we're under resistance right here that we should have stayed above as support. The fact that we got down below that and then couldn't get back up above it, and now we're consolidating below it, it's very bearish in my mind that we could have a complete retrace of this move right here down to the 382. And so this is what I'm watching for right here. We need to kind of see if there's going to be any more price action play out, because the thing is this is really correlating to the S&P 500. Let's just see if I can put that on here real quick. We got the S&P 500 up top right here, and you can see as soon as the S&P dumps, Bitcoin dumps. Now we've had somewhat of consolidation over this Labor Day weekend, and then it's already dumping again. S&P 500 is dumping and taking out these lows. So is it going to continue to drag Bitcoin down? If this is going to continue going down like this, to wherever it needs to go. You know, looking at the S&P, it's pretty obvious there's like a support region right in there. So would this come down to here? If it does that, will it force Bitcoin to the 382 and a full retrace of this breakout move here? That's what we have to be watching for. And currently it doesn't look so good. This pattern obviously doesn't look good on Bitcoin being under resistance. So if it's going to consolidate, I would be inclined to short this down to here, looking at some kind of short to play out, potentially like this, where we could target there for like a 2-to-1. And so that's, it's not best to short after we've had such a big move on Bitcoin like this. But then again, we haven't had any major retraces, and with the stock market being weak, it could easily force Bitcoin back down into here to the low 9,000s. The other thing that I want to look at is looking at the book map, though, we can see the liquidity levels on here, and that's really what I'm interested in. So I guess that's as much price action as I have here. Scrunch this down a little bit. So you can see the crazy amount of buy support that's in this region right here. So if you look down into the order book, this is on Coinbase, is what I'm looking at here. You see all this orange right here. This is just showing that there's a ton of Bitcoin sitting at these levels wanting to buy. Roughly down to 9,000, you can see about 3,200 Bitcoin that it would have to eat through to get through 9,000. And so this gives me a little more confidence in, if this pattern plays out right here, you can kind of see the price action right here. If it is to break down into this, we should have a lot of support that's going to try to hold this above 9,000. And then once that happens, we'll just have to start looking for patterns that we can get in and get behind here. So that's kind of showing that there's a lot of buy orders all the way down through here, all the way down to 9,000 really. So this short wouldn't be the most, I guess, high probability if you're looking at it from the fact that there's so much buy support in here. It might not reach this target right here. It could be some kind of wick down and then a sharp reversal back up, and then we get back above these resistances right here. And if we were to do that, one thing that I always look for when we're finishing a move is to get some kind of bullish divergence here. And so what I would want to see right here, if this is going to continue to correct and put in some kind of descending triangle or triangle before we move down, I would want to see this RSI kind of do something like this. And then when we do break down and we take out these lows and we put in a new low, what I want to see is for the RSI to make a higher low while the price makes a lower low like that. And so that's what I would be looking for a bullish divergence confirmation. We got all this buy support in this region going down to the 382 and to a full retrace of this zone. And if it's going to full on BART pattern, let me take this off. If it's going to full on BART pattern, a lot of times what I've noticed is that there'll actually be a wick like on the bottom of this move that comes down below all of this prior support right here. So if you were to draw that over, I've noticed that you'll have a move down like this and then just a wick that takes out all these, everybody thinking this is going to hold support right here, and a wick takes that out and then it does a sharp reversal. So you have to be aware of that as well. So obviously if you're playing a short out of here, then you would be doing okay. If it wicked down like that, you would get your fill targeting this 382 right here. But it's just to be aware of, especially if there's longs in play right here. You have to be aware that there could be a wick down to the mid 8,000s that takes out a lot of there'll be a big supply right here basically, because what will happen is, I'll go to Bookmap here, if it goes down through all this liquidity right here, it'll force some of these people that got in up here, a lot of this Bitcoin that got in right here, to get stopped out. And so it can cause a very quick reversal if it does get down through all of that liquidity right there. So that's just something to be aware of. Currently this is not looking very bullish though, that's the bottom line, and I'm waiting to see what's going to happen right here I'll take that off. So this was that 1618 to 175 region for support. We'll see how it develops over the next day or so, next couple days, and see if it looks like it's going to break down. And then we can start playing. I'm definitely going to be buying all the way down into here. I'm going to be layering bids all the way down, because what's going to happen, even if it wicks all the way down, like I said, very high probability that it reverses quickly, and you have some kind of big reversal if it is to dip down all the way down into here. And so I would be very interested in buying dips in that scenario. But currently I'm looking for potential short opportunity if we're going to continue to have weakness up under this resistance right here, which is now fairly major resistance. You can see it was resistance, support, flip back to resistance again. So that is major resistance, and I think we might have to have more follow through to the downside before we come back up to retest that. So I think this is pretty much it on a daily level here. You know, not too much going on. We're putting in a little bit, looks like a little bit of a reversal right now, so we could have some kind of little move up to retrace this sell-off that we've had so far today before we come back down and have to figure out where we're going to go. That's kind of what I'm eyeing, see if there's any kind of scalp setups that I can take today, but for the most part I'm really interested in this higher time frame structure that's playing out right here, and for the final move down, if we're going to get that. And so I'll keep you guys posted. I'll make another video tomorrow to see where we're at and how we've developed here. So I will see you guys next time.